Okay, so a shliach called me up from England. There is in this Beis Chabad comes a kohen, and he has a girlfriend who is a shiksa. She became pregnant. He is he has a little bit like a traditional Sfardi. He's really upset about it. Now he's going to have a goyish child. He's also concerned. His friends are telling him he's not going to be allowed to go up to Duchening if he has a goyish child.
Done. What do you mean? Even with a goyish girlfriend, he's done, no?
So that's what his friends are telling me. I mean, I'm just telling you what the shaila is. So now he has a shaila. He wants to the goyish girlfriend is maskim that when the child is born, they can convert the child. So the shliach asked what I think about it.
Doesn't get the kohen. Doesn't work the kohen. Anyway.
Okay, so let's quickly look
at
at
That's the shayla.
Convert the child?
Convert the child to Judaism.
The mother not Jewish.
The mother allows it. The mother
kid
says
is not. He's not.
that's a she.
I don't know. Has to have some das in it, no?
So no, they don't have to. But the answer is like this, very simple, plain and simple.
Oh, plain and simple.
First is about converting the child. The Rambam says in Surah Bia Aloch Yud Gimel Perik Yud Gimel Aloch Zayin. Ger koten mat bebilin oise al das bezen shchuschi loy. That a little a bezen wants to do a zechus for a little child. Say a person adopts a goyish child. They don't have to wait till they're bar bas mitzvah. Bezen's megaya them because it's a zechus. It's a zechus for the child. Now.
But she's not a ger.
Oh.
You're making her a ger.
Now, in this case, you have to think about this. How would it be as a chus? If in most cases these people don't last together, so they go separate. If they go to court about custody, the mother gets the child. The mother's a shiksa.
Unless they have a prenup.
Yeah, was noch? The shiksa, this English shiksa is going to make a prenup with this guy, allowing him to.
You don't think she would sign that she's masking? If she's saying now she's masking, he should say to her,
Spicy.
in writing, lady,
that he gets the child.
Spicy.
That would have been a brilliant idea. That would probably. But you'd have to be a Rebbe for this idea. You know what I mean? So. Well,
since there's no heck of marriage, they're talking about a common thing that they own in commonality. They own something in commonality. She can give up her rights.
Yeah, she could, but you'd have to be a Rebbe for that. You know, my shver has this unbelievable story. With there's a Baltshuva. All his kids are shluchim. A guy he became Baltshuva. He was a successful businessman. He was already in his 50s. Elamai, he didn't feel he has the right. He was a moral person. He was married for 30 years, and now to divorce his shiksa. The kids said they went to the Moshe Feinstein. They went to Ugadoli Yisrael. Then they decided they're going to go ask the Rebbe directly. They went to Yechidus, and the Rebbe told my shver that Emetz soll sich begegnen in the grocery store, kilo bederach agav, and Matzia Zan is al Megaya Zan. Someone should like bump into her as if it was inadvertently in a grocery store and suggest that maybe she be Megaya. Kids, a long story short, there was a shliach that lived there, Allah Shalom, and he Sunday morning, it was pathmark, he bumped into her. He said, "Oh, your husband is becoming religious." So she said, "Yeah." So he said, "Why don't you convert to Judaism?" She said, "Oh, very nice idea. Thank you, Rabbi." 15 minutes later, he gets a call from her lawyer that she filed for divorce.
For her, she knew it was not for her.
Yeah.
He
was never going to divorce her. And she got thrown to film, and she got hat aboard, she got down to 770 bavoida. He was married to a woman for 30 years. How many, let off? He was very more. He got married at 55.
And had kids?
He has 7 children. The second wife. All came out, I think 6 out of 7 are shluchim today.
Wow.
And he passed away, I think 3 years ago, almost a ben meir.
The shiksa.
No. The Baal Tshuva, he passed away. He Baruch Hashem saw all his kids to their chuppah.
Unbelievable. Sounds like Avraham Avinu.
That's what my shver used to call my Avraham Avinu, and he used to call my shver my father. Because my shver made him Batshuva, put on a lot of koiches to him. But
he had children from the first marriage? He had children from the first marriage?
Yeah.
I don't know.
What happened? He didn't
I don't know. I don't know.
Who told, whose idea was this, Ramoshes?
No. The Rebbe said that they should ask the woman to be Megayah.
Right, in the bump in, someone should bump in. That's what I did.
Yeah, the Rebbe said. And then as soon as she heard that, she called the lawyer and she filed for divorce.
What happened? Like, what do you think triggered it?
Must have been
Maybe with a
Italian.
gid for all these years, and all of a sudden,
This guy, she
Rebbe
became
said-
Baal Tshuva, and she lived with him. He was frum. The kitchen was kosher ready. She wasn't fine. All of a sudden, this thing triggered something in her mind. She filed for divorce.
only a Rebbe could see that.
I'm saying it's like that's what I'm saying. You can't play games. Shliach asks a Shaila, so it's
I had a meiser.
yeah.
After the Rebbe had a heart attack, there was a Yid I had a business. He was supposed to make for the Rebbe a bedroom. And at the end, the Rebbe didn't want it. It's a 7-year bedroom. But this year, I used to go with him and put on tefillin every Friday. And suddenly, one week, he tells me not to come anymore. I got very upset. What's the issue? He found out that he was kohen. And he married his wife without... And now he doesn't know what to do with him. He's like, did you say that? He didn't have to cook for Kedushin. What to do? I told him,
You have a good heart, I know.
he said it's a very big problem. Can you understand? And so he went to Israel and he tried to do it in Israel. He couldn't get up, so he got very angry. So he wrote matters.
Okay. So the first thing is, it has to be a zchus for this child to be megayer the child. It's not a zchus for a child that has a goyish mother to be misgayev.
Right.
So there's no question about that. The question is about if he's allowed to do it. So look in Alter Shulchan Aruch, Simen Kuf Chav Ches, Sif Nun Beis Nun Gimel Nun Dalad Nun Hey.
How old this guy was when he was a Bar Tshuva? He started being Bar Tshuva.
About 50 years old.
50.
And he got remarried, I think it was about 55 when he got remarried.
You said it's not a schus, but why does the Rambam write it is a schus there?
No, in a case, because usually it's a zchus, because the father and mother are Jewish, and they're going to raise him as a Jewish child.
Oh, only in that situation.
Yeah,
You have to
because
ask
it's
the
a
child
zchus.
when the child gets older. you
Okay,
have to ask
but we're not getting there yet. We have to start with a zechus. It has to be a zechus for him or for her.
You once darshan the pasuk Gershon is guy. What do you mean Gershon is guy?
Right, or the Chaim HaKodesh, right. That it must be that the Ger, he's already in the Shama, was already a Yid, the Shem Shama.
Right. But how can I? So even the baby, Gershon, Cotton, like, knows that's pshat because it's not only the das of the parents, and once the parents are sincerely wanting to be Megayer,
Turns
then
out,
the child's also a ger.
yeah.
But if it's only the mother and Patrick and Matri,
Here, the
Fraternity
father.
goes after the parent, the mother. So how can you ever call it a Gershon as guy? Cotton, ger, cotton.
Oh, good, because then now the Vort.
The mother's not interested in the Why is it even the gay? I'm saying if the mother's never interested, can we go by the father? Can it be considered ger? I'll ask the father.
That's what I'm saying. She agreed he could take, but the way it's nitfus in my mind, she's a shiksa. She thinks that by the Jews is like by the Galot. They'll take a little seltzer and spritz it on the baby.
She thinks it's easy.
And it's a girl. If it was a boy and she has to understand there's a bris, I'm not even sure that she would be masking.
Okay.
So she thinks a little seltzer is going to be spritzed on her daughter. Again, then she has no intention to raise this kid to do Torah mitzvahs. But this kid was already in this guy. It's not as chus for this kid to be in Gehenim. It's a goy that doesn't keep Shabbos. He goes, he can get a goyish Gehenim. I mean, a goyish Gan Eden Elyon. But how is it a chus for a baby that has a goyish mother who's not going to raise them Jewish to be Megayah?
Right. So I was just saying. So in the shayla that you had, that you said to the shliach, what?
Not to be Megayah the child.
Not to, because the mother has no interest.
The mother's it's a joke. She thinks it's.
But the father's interest can change it.
But how is it going to change it? What happens when they?
You said that if they make
I said
if they made this agreement,
if they made an agreement
that she allows him to be the guy of the baby,
and he gets the baby just in case they
custody.
Custody.
That would be a case where it would be still cutting this guy, right?
Yeah.
What happens if he wants to live with his father?
Even though there's no supposed to be Megaira baby.
Well, it's a schus for a person to be a Jew is a big schus.
No, but we don't force it on going. We know
We don't
that.
force it. But
So
for
why-
a baby,
But if we're not forcing it, so why, even if his, I'm just rethinking, why would the
Pashtus,
father,
if the baby
why would
will
the
be
father's
raised-
stats matter?
if the baby will be raised as a kosher yid, it's an unbelievable schus.
It's a schus for the
The
baby,
big
but we
takas
don't
can't
do
fish
it.
in
But
it.
we don't do it
We
actively.
do it. Sure, we do it. We'll do it.
I thought we always
do it.
try to push away Gerim.
Only adults, not babies. Not babies. If it's a baby, we say it's a schus. That's not
So adopting a baby is, we look at it as this, even if the baby's not Jewish, there's a schus to adopt babies.
Yeah, no, there's an issue with adoption. That's another issue.
Yichud, right.
That, whatever. But yeah, it's a schus for a goyish baby to be adopted.
And there's no problem.
No problem. There's no problem at all.
When a kid has a goyish father,
I played basketball.
Goy
He went to
has a
Hank.
father.
Right. So that,
Might as well feeding it
Father. Her
everything.
husband.
what?
The German officer.
Married
Yeah.
a Yid.
Yeah.
But his mother was Jewish.
No, his father was
His
Jewish.
father was Jewish.
His father was Jewish.
Oh, yeah.
That's why he did it.
The Shulchan Aruch, the Alter Rebbe says like this: Siman Kuf Chav Ches. Lo yehoya bayechem mechol advarim ha'ma'akfim nesias kapayim. A kohen that doesn't have a thing that would hold him back from doing nesias kapayim. Afa pishu rama lalim blial asponim einem etaktiv b'mitzvahs v'chol ha'meranenu acharov. They say he does terrible things. Doesn't matter. Noisa kapov. He does the mitzvahs of nesias kapayim. Shemitzvahs say l'chol kohen lisa kapov.
Even a chol.
No, we didn't get there yet. Ve'inoim l'rosha hoyse fresha arishascha ve'homna min ha'mitzvahs ve'himona min ha'mitzvahs Lo titam aviyotoim marmatoil birchas had yetzeh she'ein kabbalas ha'barachet plui b'koinim ala b'kadosh baruch hu shenema v'nei vorachem. It doesn't matter if this guy is a terrible guy, and everyone says that this guy is a terrible guy, but he has a mitzvah to do birchas kohenim nesias kapayim, and we shouldn't tell him to stop. He should do this mitzvah. It's a mitzvah. Such a terrible guy, his bracha is going to help? No, it's the Eibush that gives the bracha through him, so don't worry. He's over, he's a ganev, he eats tarfes. He's over on the mitzvahs that are unique for kohenim. There's a special kanas or paslu b'chol ma'alas hakuna. And they took him away from all the miles of Kuna.
he's not Shomer
For
Shabbat.
example,
If he's
not Shomer Shabbat, no problem.
No
But
problem.
it depends. Depends if it's. It could be. It could be in the case if he's not Shomer Shabbat. Leave it aside for a moment. If he, in the case he's not Shomer Shabbat, but he doesn't know because he doesn't understand what Shabbos is. So yeah. So then he could be noise a kappa. But if he doesn't do a mitzvah that he goes against a mitzvah that's unique for kohenim. Kohen shenos a grusha chalutza shenit malameis. He married a grusha, or he makes himself tummy. And it's a meis. She'enim azay meis a mitzvah. Einu is a kappa. He's not allowed to do nesias kapayim. It's a punishment from the chachamim. You don't get any. He doesn't get any of the benefits. He doesn't get any of the benefits of being a kohen. Another din, hacholol dahaina anoilad misura kahuna. Hacholol, he was born through a sura kahuna. For example, grusha, a kohen married as a grusha. The child is a cholol, zoina, chalolo. Eina noisa kapov. He's not allowed to do nesias kapayim. L'fisheina bekihuna. He lost his kahuna. Vareu kezor l'chol davar, and he
Who, the halal?
the cholol. Yeah.
And he can never undo it. He can never change.
No,
the
can never
Marsov?
change it. No, can never change it.
So,
If the mother is a zoina, the child that's born from this mother is not a kohen anymore. He loses his kahuna. So it doesn't matter if the father is a kohen and the mother can be a kohen. They can both be kohenim. But because she was a zoina, whatever constitutes a zoina, no, that's another discussion. Not what the common folk call a zoina. But if she was already over an issa that made her a zoina, so now the baby is ois kohen. He's called a cholol. Okay. So now
As said, there could be a whole bunch of people that are calling him that cannot do them.
that's it. You got it.
That's what the Marshal says.
That's
Marshal
exactly
says
it.
most
And we
people are
pass him that way.
Marshal says most Kohanim are not kosher Kohanim.
Now, yeah,
Bali tshuva to come.
there's a lot of that saves a lot of bali tshuva. You have to realize people don't want to be kohenim. I'm shuldik for the kohen that's in the house. Baruch Hashem, we have we have a beautiful kosher kohen in the house.
Few of
But
them.
in
And
general,
his sons and his sons.
people don't want to be kohenim. Why? Because that, right? How could they ever get married? It's like it's crazy.
Wait, what's
So-
the issue with being a kohen?
Huh?
What's the issue with being a kohen?
They can't marry a divorced woman.
Somebody's a puzzle, the coin can't serve in the base of it. They'll find out the puzzle.
Right.
It's even a bigger problem when you get a second marriage.
I had two kohanim who were in yeshiva with me, never got married.
Right. So the
Today
fact
the
that
crisis
the
with
mother being termed a zoina and therefore the child is a cholol is today for many balatshuva. I'm saying balatshuva because sometimes the mother, a lot of balatshuva, the parents are normal people. They're married. You can't say the mother's a zoina. Vaskamenton. You know, the mother is a normal person. She's married to a husband and wife are married, a beautiful couple. What could you do? You can't help them. But if you could figure out that the mother was a zoina, then you can help him that now he's not a kohen anymore and he could marry a grusha. Sorry, we went off the topic. This is a very hot topic. We'll go back to the topic at hand. The topic at hand is that this kohen is not a cholov. Why? Because the kohen that sleeps with a zoina, she becomes a zoina, but he doesn't become a cholov. In other words, if a kohen marries a grusha, the baby is a cholol, but the kohen himself is not a cholol. He just has to divorce this woman. He has to divorce her. Kolzman, he doesn't divorce her. He's not allowed to be duchening because of a knas. Now,
What if she dies without Kedusha?
that he could be no problem.
He goes back?
He goes back because that's only a knas midrabanan. Now, when does he get the knas? Only if he's over a mitzvah which disgraces his kahuna. Now, getting married to a shiksa is not a disgrace to you kahuna. If you're a yisrael, you're also not allowed to marry a shiksa. If you're so here, because he did something so terrible, he's not b'chlal hagazera. If he married a Jewish woman who is a gerusha, we'd say is a knas, until he divorces her and he's makabel neder al das rabim that he's never going to marry a gerusha again, he can't go up to duchen. But this guy didn't disgrace his kahuna. Every Jew is also to marry a shiksa. So therefore, is 100% mutter for him to go duchen.
That's only if she's a pluya. If she was a
shiksa, brula, kuna, a dog, a cat is all the same thing. There's a shiksa, there's a shiksa. It makes no difference. There's no shayach, it's a she, it's nothing. So this guy didn't marry grusha, he married a shiksa. So because he's with a shiksa, he didn't mechalal his kahuna. So therefore, not only is a mutter for him to duchen, it's a mitzvah for him to do. Fakir, mitzvah geredes mitzvah. He'll do one mitzvah and then he'll do more mitzvahs, and the mitzvah Shem will become a full Baal Tshuva. But anyway, the bottom line is that's what the shliach did. He told me he knows this guy's going to be really upset about it, but he went back and he told the guy, "I'm sorry, no conversion." The truth is, they're in a city in England, which I know the Batei Dinim there. They're not going to fall for such things to be Megayah such a child. They're not going to be Megayah this child. Like there's a very choshev city in England, and the Batei Dinim are not gonna. They're not going to be Megayah.
They don't see a future.
They don't see a future. They're not going to be Megayah. This child is a joke. But yeah, I told him his friends are telling him a mistake. He wanted to Megayah his child because he wants to duchen. To tell him that he's allowed to duchen. Not only is he allowed to duchen, it's a mitzvah, big mitzvah. He should come to the Chabad house and duchen. But the child, he can't be Megayah the child. Versteht sich. If his girlfriend wants to be Megayah, then there's a different business. Then there's a different story. Bezdin will yeah, there's a different thing. Well, they'll take it in account.
Rabbi, question. In our days,
Yeah.
right now, so many Kohanim I know personally, in the 40, in the 50, they cannot get married. They need betula.
No, they don't need bestula. They can't have a grusha. Only a kohen gadol.
Even kids, why the Kohanim, if it's not so strong on them, right here we're learning, why so hard on the Kohanim? Why Rabbanim doesn't sit down together? He want to make a family.
They can't. Well, what could they do? If the mother, yeah, what could they do? The Eibishter made this rule. Sometimes, like I said,
no kula, no nothing.
there's no kula, nothing. There's sometimes balitshuva. There is. If the mother, we'll get into this. Since you asked the question, Blina, another week we'll go in how you could help. But that doesn't help if the parents are normal people. from a normal couple, and the mother's not a zoina, not a grusha, not a chalola, nothing. He's a kohen. He's a kohen. What can
So
you
he's
do?
suffering.
He's suffering. Yes.
He's suffering to be a Kohen.
Yes.
They get married.
No,
And
no
they're so
way.
beautiful
no
people,
way.
you know.
Talking about the children, regular.
No.
Regular.
Regular. They didn't get married. They couldn't get married. He want to get married now. He can't.
Yeah, he can't.
I was struggling at all money.
Getting
He
older
can't.
and older.
Yeah, he can't marry Gerdes. It's tough for kohenim.
He's already 50.
Malki Tzedek, Melech Sholem, Hoitzi Lechem V'Yoyin V'Koyen. A kohen has to be a sholem. And it says that Avram Avinu Vayitel Meiser Mikoil. He gave him Meiser because it was a kohen. So the Yalkut Mamloyas brings from the Meforshim that because of this chus, the Eibishter gave a bracha to teach the Gewalt of giving tzedakah b'chlal and b'frat dinyan of Meiser and to kohenim and to Leviim. So because that we have in benching the bracha Bakril Mikoil Koil, the bracha to Avram, Yitzchak and Yaakov, b'schus that he vayitel Meiser Mikoil, he was oichet to get the bracha of Bakril Mikoil Koil, which in benching we say we are looking for the bracha Bakril Mikoil Koil.
Koil is not a wife?
It was a daughter,
One of the
actually.
places.
Koil was a daughter.
No,
No, but
Koil
that's a
is
separate
a
thing. That's a separate thing. He gave him a daughter. Yeah. Okay.
So if a woman was married to a goy, and then she divorced his goy, what happens if she marries a kohen?
Now the child is a cholov. So that's a lot of that's a right. Okay, next shaila. So
Not easy.
it's an anomaly shaila, but it's Yoitzman called something that teaches you in the whole thing.
It's about Hanukkah, right?
Megetzich to Chanukah, and what's taka the recipe for jelly donuts? It's very simple. We make
Years ago, they didn't make jelly donuts. I was growing up in Williamsburg, there was no jelly donuts.
no jelly donuts.
So now it's out.
What did they have chocolate donuts?
It was just
They didn't have.
latkes.
They had latkes and blintzes.
In Eretz Yisrael, they had all the
Oh, it's a show, but in America,
The jelly donuts of Israel is delicious. Do it different than it.
Gumbo sells like 20 different types of donuts.
They're all about latkes was common.
it's all gumbo. All gumbo.
And every year they come up with new ones.
But it is-
Tastes like
the
gum.
year, now you're certain the Kim was given with yet.
This one is going to be potato stuff.
They probably will.
the bakery is working around the clock over there.
Yeah.
Making donuts.
Sure.
My daughter's my
You got to be nuts not so.
No, over here, Rodrigo. They had
That's
a-
why it's
they
called
had opened
donuts,
up in a
'cause
factory.
nuts over there.
Round the clock, they're making donuts.
So we have a simple recipe. My wife makes challah every Erev Shabbos, but we don't eat that much challah. So what do you do with the extra dough? So the extra dough, pizza. Oh, comes Chanukah time. The extra dough becomes donuts.
Yeah, but isn't it made differently? The dough bachal is not.
Yeah, who knows
It's
the
the
difference?
same.
Once it's
The kids eating it.
once it's fried in the oil, it tastes the same thing. It's all the same. It makes no difference. You wouldn't know a difference.
Actually tastes better once it's in the fried, right?
Yeah, it tastes very good actually.
Right, they
So what do you have
It's
to make?
more solid.
And
So
you
what's
put the kiss, in the kiss, you put in more stuff.
Yeah.
So what's it? You have to make a mitzvah sandwich?
It's different
yeah,
now, it's fried.
so that's the shaila. So that's the shaila.
Long walk back.
L'chayda, so l'chayda, on the one hand, it's fried. On the other hand, but l'chayda, l'gabe, so the kids asked me, but you chayv, but we took challah. They know, they ask, they always ask. They know they need to ask. Cookie dough, sometimes it's chayv b'challah. So they asked, they said, what do you mean? But this is real challah. We took challah. How could you not make a moitzi?
Because it's not the taking of the challah. The taking of the challah is a separate issue. The issue is what the food item is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you take challah even off a mezainis isa, right? Like a cake.
You do.
You do.
So that's
what he's saying,
The
right.
issue is not the taking of the challah, but what the food item is.
Okay.
Whether it's
Somebody Shainim incidentally agree with you.
Oh, good. That's helpful. What?
Some, only
You're
some.
doing good.
No.
You're doing good. You're doing good.
No, you're doing good. You're good. You're
Take
good.
it either way.
He's a lawyer, so it's a lawyer issue.
Yeah.
What's that, Rabbi? So if you're making cookies or challah,
If you make
chocolate
any,
chip cookies
the bottom
or-
line is, if you make any dough, I once gave a shurim here in the summer, a series of 6 shurim for women for challah. It was like an eye opener to them. For some reason, some people think that you take challah only on challah. It's like a gzeira shav in their mind, challah and challah. Any dough that you knead with your fingers, and it's not mixed with a spoon, that you have to take challah. A mount is a shaila. And Lubavitch, the rule of thumb is over, if it's 3 pounds, you'll take without a bracha, and 4 pounds you take with a bracha.
3 pounds of flour.
Flour. 3 pounds of flour, you take challah without a bracha. Already a little under 4 pounds, you take with a bracha.
How much flour does a typical challah take?
A typical recipe is 5 pounds.
How many challahs does it make?
How much? It depends on how large, but
each challah is about a pound of flour.
Very big. If you make 5, you end up with huge challahs. So if you don't have such a big oilum, you'll make less, and you have extra dough. That's why you always have extra dough. So what do we do with the extra dough? You do something. So you make donuts. So that's the shaila. L'choyre, it was chayev b'chala, this isa. Someone said a good svara. Once if you made a cookie dough, what's the difference? You take challah, l'choyre. Okay.
You make the challah before you make it, so
right.
But if you have a kavana, when you do the challah,
it makes a big difference.
If I have left over, and I make something else with it.
So let's learn it inside. Isa b'shulchan aruch. Vayera Chaim, it says like this. Siman kuf samaches yud gimel. Afila davesh bli losei ova in bishloi tigna ein mevarich ala amoitzi afila sheyesh alei torisa v'nama v'afila neschayve b'chala. The birchas amoitzi ein hoylech ela achashas afiyah. Exactly your svara. There are some of the Shainim that say that I don't care that you're chayiv b'chala. What do you care chayiv b'chala, not chayiv b'chala? We look at the time that it goes into the oven. If it's in an oven, it's amoitzi. If it's in a pot, and it was liquid, it was cooked or fried, it doesn't matter if there's a lot of liquid or a little liquid. So it's always going to be mezainas. V'yesh cholkim.
I don't understand. Everything goes into an oven.
Right. Cookies also go in the oven. So cookies are mezainas for a different reason. That's why it's not good to get into, because of the sugar that's in it and the chocolate. But here, let's focus on things that are really dough, not dough that are full of sugar.
Like my daughter's challahs this Shabbos, she made chocolate chip.
You make chocolate chip challahs.
So it's mezainas or amotzi?
Okay, so let's leave that
That's
for
a push.
Right. A problem in Halacha to have chocolate?
Let's chol kima. Those no, it's not real. There are those that are cholik, and they say the culture chilas isa ovo. If the isa was a ovo, I feel like even though you made it yeast, yeah, even though it was heavy, and you're going to put in yeast. It doesn't matter if you put in yeast or not, but the fact is that if it's isa ova, it's a heavy dough. I feel like you made it soft, also sufganin, you made it sufganiot. And you cooked it in water or in oil. Makes some difference, water or oil. They say no, it's amoitzi. The Shulchan Aruch says v'noa gula hokel. The minig is to be made called Yiddish Shemayim Yotzi Deshneim v'lo yoichlem el yedei shevarech aleichem ha'chatchila. Yiddish Shemayim will only eat it in a suda. So the Parsha pshat in Shulchan Aruch is
maybe have a suda of Chanukah anyway, so the Shkanigot will be part of the suda.
You're going to have breakfast in Chanukah jelly donut, wash and have a piece of kazayas of bread, and then have your jelly donut and your coffee.
No mezonot.
Yeah, that's the Parsha din in Shulchan Aruch. The problem is that all the Mefarshim ask, they don't understand. They don't understand. Tzarech because in Yoreh Deya and Siman Shin Chovtez, the din is Isa Shabli Lasa Ava. The Gilgalal Das Lavashlo Latagna. Any dough that you made it in your mind because you were planning to fry it or cook it in water, like replach or sufganiot, or lasa sufganin layav shabacham, also came, it's potem in achala. Gilgala lasas memenu lechem. If a person had in mind to make real bread out of it, v'nimlach, and then he changed his mind, lavashla oil tagna, and then he changed his mind and he fried it. Or lasa sufganin layav shabacham chieves shekun esav v'shas gilgal. I feel like shoysel das lavash, even though he had in mind to cook it. In B'daita lefes memenu ma'at, if he had in mind a little bit part of the dough to bake in the oven, I feel like ein b'oisa ma'at shirchala kulam es chieves al yodeh, it becomes chayev b'chala. So the din of Shulchan Aruch is that it depends on your mind when you make the dough. If you're making the dough al das, if you're making the dough al das, that you're going to fry it or cook it in water, then it's potem in achala. Unless you had in mind to really bake it. or bake part of it, then it's chayiv b'challah. So all the meforshim have a problem with this din of Shulchan Aruch. They have a shaila. So don't understand why you make a lagat. The whole reason you're telling me that this dough should be a moitzev because it's chayiv b'challah. But later Shulchan Aruch paskins against the Rabbeinu Tam. The Rabbeinu Tam holds takel l'chumra, but we paskin Shulchan Aruch against the Rabbeinu Tam. And even though the Shach says you should be machmir, but the Alter Rebbe paskins against the Shach, and the Alter Rebbe says to be mekel. And so the bottom line is, any dough that you make, like pasta. If a person, someone in the shul told me he once tried to make, he had a what's it called, a business to making pasta. So if you make pasta, you don't have to make, that's taka the shaila. And the Shulchan Aruch paskins that you don't take challah, even without a bracha, you don't take challah, because you know that the pasta is not going to be baked, it's only going to be cooked in water.
If you are baking it like lasagna or something?
The lasagna.
Baked ziti
Baked ziti. I mean, you put it in.
It doesn't matter. Even baked ziti and lasagna is made with a lot of is made with a ton of liquid. Yeah, a lot of liquid
Makes the difference.
Yeah.
Wait,
so therefore,
on a donut you have to wash?
oh, so that's what I'm getting at. So they will ask, you don't take challah if you know that you're making a dough for pasta. You don't make challah from it. So how would you say it's a shaila on the bracha? Therefore, taka the Mishnah Berurah paskins that any dough that you made and you had in mind that this dough is going to be cooked or baked is mezoinus. Taka zoy, you might make. He says if you're making a dough and you're planning to cook it or fry it, to cook it or fry it, so then you make on that food you make mezoinus. So therefore, pasta, according to him, it's simple because mostly is made al das that later you're going to cook it in water or fry it in oil. So therefore the bracha is b'nei min mazayin. It's the same thing he says about donuts because you're going to make the dough al das to make it sufganiyot. The bracha is b'nei min mazayin. However, says the Mishnah Berurah that if be'emes you bake part of it or mechatchil you had in mind to bake part of it, so then taka. And then takazoyet, it would be part of the shaila and the Shulchan Aruch, and a Yeshamaim would only eat it in the Suda.
Is there a syrup? So if you have 5 pounds of dough and 2 pounds you're going to use for pasta, which we just said,
doesn't matter how much.
And 3 pounds
if you're planning to put 1 ounce in the oven, then you chayiv b'challah.
So there is a syrup, so that the whole 5 you can take challah with the bracha on the whole 5 pounds, even if some of it will be used for pasta.
Right.
The mitzvah's on the dough.
That's on the dough. And that's what the bring from the Maram Rottenberg in his house, that his wife used to make big dough, and part of it she used to use for this and that. And he used to always ask her to make a little bit in the oven, so therefore they could do the mitzvah of challah. Yeah. Because even if a little bit goes in the oven, but lamaisa, like Rabbi Barachas, the Mishnah Berurah says that it depends. If you're planning to make the entire dough cooked in water or fried in oil, then it's mezoinus. But if not, if part of it is going to be baked in the oven, then it's a problem, and you can't just make mezoinus. But the Alter Rebbe is mekel. The Alter Rebbe holds. The Alter Rebbe has an unbelievable chiddush. The Alter Rebbe says like this: the Shulchan Aruch says that the minig of lahakal is not because it was a safek barachas lahakal. He says because really kain iker. Alter Rebbe is a big chiddush. That's what he says in brackets. That because the Alter Rebbe holds that really barachas has nothing to do if it's chayav b'challah potem achallah. It has to be that it has to be baked in the oven. If it's not baked in the oven, how could you say it's a moitzi? It's not. It's only a moitzi. How could you say it's a mezoinus? It's only a moitzi if you bake it in the oven, and that's the reason of the minhag oilam. Therefore, the Alter Rebbe holds that the reason why it's different than all the Mefarshim learned that the reason the Shulchan Aruch says no agul hakel because safek bracha said they want to be mekel. Benching is very hard. The bench, it's a whole thing. So they were mekel, and they said mazanos. Yiras Shamayim will be machmer. But the Alter Rebbe in Shulchan Aruch says no. The reason the minig is lo mekel is because lagav the bracha has nothing to do with chiyuv challah. In order to make a bracha moitzi has to be in the oven. If it's in a pot and there is it's a lot of like a lot of oil or a lot of water, so then it's 100%. And the Siddur, the Alter Rebbe doesn't even bring another shita that's chaylik. Lagabi, if there's a lot of water and a lot of oil. If there's a little water, a little oil, the Alter Rebbe brings out Machloekes. We'll talk about it another time. But Lagabi donuts, which is a lot of oil, or kreplach, which is a lot of water, the Alter Rebbe holds that the reason the minig oilam is to be makel is because they hold that you have to look if it's in the oven, it's hamoitzi. If it's deep fried or it's cooked in a pot, then it's 100% mezainis. In the Siddur, he accepts this shita halacha mamish.
Wait, so if it's baked, then it has to be.
Then anything that's baked has to be hamoitzi. Baked, we're not talking if it's cake. That's a separate issue.
Yeah, because I'm
the
thinking
regular dough. No, we're not talking about cookies.
No, cookie dough ice cream.
No. Talking about dough, real dough. Real dough that is not possible but kissed.
I have a question.
Yeah.
My wife go to a lot of Afrashat Challah.
Yeah.
They have 50 women. They make challah, they make the dough, and then they give it to them. The dough, they give them home. Now she took the dough and she put it in the freezer. In 2 weeks, she want to make challah. She has to take challah from
but they already took challah
They
there.
took, but they didn't bake it, they didn't do anything.
Doesn't matter. No,
Doesn't make
The
difference.
mitzvah's on the dough.
The mitzvah's by the dough. The mitzvah challah is
Only
by
by
the dough.
matzah, they do afterwards. By matzah baking,
Matzah baking
they do
is an
afterwards.
exception.
Because they're on the
One
dough.
question. So the pale mamish, you go to the store and you buy a dough.
100% mezainis. 100% mezainis. The mila is that by possible bekisnin, once you eat kidei shir kviyasuda, it's a problem. So you share shaila how many cake you can have. But donuts, even if you eat a dozen donuts, you make always boide minimum mezainis. That's why you didn't like to eat donuts.
Even eight basin.
Even if you eat 100 kabetzim. That's the mile and eat donuts. Because cake, if you eat more than the shir kviyasuda, then even if l'chatchili made a mezainis, you realize you ate more than the shir kviyasuda, rogalach cake, all these things, you have to now bench. It's a whole suffix brachas. But donuts, you could eat onas of donuts. That's the mile of donuts. That's the mile of donuts.
You can get
You
sick
don't
after.
get weight.
That's the mile of donuts. Donuts is an unbelievable mile.
Calories on Hanukkah.
Because donuts are free of charge. Cake is a shaila. If you ate so much cake, you have to bench. Eat donuts. Eat donuts. Donuts. Donuts is very good because it's mezainis, and according to the Alter Rebbe, even if part of the dough you're baking in the oven, it's always mezainis. So that's it.
So now we're ready for Hanukkah.
Our donuts nowadays are made that way?
Yeah, they're all deep fried. It's gewaldig. Very quick on our third shaila. People asked about filters and Shabbos. For the waters and Shabbos. So first I want to go back to last week. Someone has said that I didn't make it clear what my opinion is. I just want to make it very clear. My opinion is that the waters of New York are kosher water. It's kosher to drink. And you don't need a filter. However, versteht sich a machmer tovel of bracha, and it's a gewaldige thing. You know that the Chassam Sofer brings that he says a Yiddish Shemayim doesn't eat rice, raisins, or dried fruits. I mean, could you imagine there were generations where Frume Yidden, they were nizet because of Teiloim. You know what people didn't eat? He brings that Frume Yidden, another thing, and they don't eat raspberries. Malinas, the Metzias today is different, but I'm just showing you that there's such a thing of Tovei Aleim Bracha. So if you ask me my opinion, there's another mile of saying that the New York water is kosher. Why? If you say the New York water is really not kosher and you have a filter, there's a big shaila, two big shailas. Number one, I just want to point out, if you really hold it's treif, the water, then you must make sure that your filter is really working well. Because if there's the tiniest leak, then you're really being oiver and isur. Because if you don't have the filter, so what? The teloim are kosher, it's fine, it's kosher teloim. But now that you have a filter and it leaked, now you're really eating toiloim. Now you're eating toiloim. So before you put a filter, you have to know that it's not, it has to really work well. If there's a leak and now it gets backed up and it's leaking, it's not good. Because we learned it last week, that if you're misanin and then toiloia jumps out and it goes into your water, then you're really being oiver. If it was still in the water, then it's kosher.
What happens if I put on for health reasons? Because to remove the minerals, the heavy minerals.
So here's the key. The key is that the Mishnah says, and the Gemara later says, "Nois noda maim tzlulim letoicha mishameres v'Shabbos ve'einei choshesh aval achurim loy." Clean water that you want it to get a little cleaner, you're allowed to run it through a filter in Shabbos. If the water is dirty, it's also to run through a filter. So here is the big shackle of Ataya. If you hold, one second, if you hold that bugs are really also to drink in Shabbos, and there's really bugs in the New York waters, because the someone in Borough Park saw a few bugs in the water, and they say befedish they saw the bugs. So if you believe that there's bugs, and these bugs are also to drink, so l'chayda, this is called mayim achurim. The Sheilos are still not done. The jury is still out on this. Med gefrekt Rav Yashiv, he said like this, and he said like this. Amachlok is what Rav Yashiv said. They say that if you, those that hold that the water you drink in New York must be filtered, they're very should know they're nizir. Then they open the water to wash their hands, and agav, they're washing their hands. They didn't open the water to filter the water. They opened the water to wash their hands. Or they let the water run for a minute, azoi, because they want to clean the sink. And then they fill...
Or not have the pipes affect the water.
Yeah, for all kinds of good reasons. They let the water run, but they're not going to put on the filter and just fill up a cup and close the water. I'm saying the very fruma that l'maisik is a problem. But if you hold, this is just my thought, that if you hold that the water is really kosher, and Lama, you want to be nizir and you want to have a filter, and you're going to have taka. So then I think you could for sure rely on the fact that this is called mayim tzlulim. It's kosher water. You want to be machmir tova bracha. So I think then there's no problem if you put a filter and you say befedish that if you're going to go to your chava's house and I'll give you something to drink, and it's not filtered water, you might drink it. In your house, you want to be nizir, and you're going to put up a filter. So then you don't have no problems on Shabbos. But if you really hold that there's bugs in the water of Shabbos, taka, there is room to say that. What do you mean? The mayim achurim is also to be mesan, and it's boired on Shabbos. So you might have a problem.
But isn't it like a miyut? It's not that there's bugs just.
What's the difference?
It's not recognizable.
Not only is it not recognizable, that's a different shayla. No, that's a different shayla. I'm saying, if you want to say it's my regular, no one ever said that every cup has bugs. It's probably like 1,000 to 1.
So
I mean, every 1,000 cups.
As I said, the jury's out on this.
Anyway, it's bottled. It's not a secret.
Kisvi, they're still writing. Everyone's still writing about it.
Yeah, it's forever because there's no one that everyone respects, so it's not going to happen.
No, it's eventually it'll. But I'm saying if you hold that it's kosher, that's for sure no problem.
Then it's the skin.
Yeah, but we used to.
He wants to slug up the next guy. He wants to slug up the next guy.
No, if you're concerned with health reasons, then you have them for heavy minerals.
Then it's no problem. That's what he said. That's called mayim tzlulim.
Yeah.
Mayim achurim means it's undrinkable. It's undrinkable water. It's not that you want it to be a little cleaner, a little more delicious. If you want it to be a little more delicious, a little cleaner, it's 100% mutter.
Yeah.
If it's undrinkable, the question is, if you feel that this water is also, it's undrinkable.
Wait, so we're talking about even like an ordinary filter, with just like
any filter.
One second, so if you're out, who knows, you ever see those, what's it called, those life straws, you ever heard of those?
Usually when people put filters, it's not because they can't drink
No, I'm saying you're out in camping for Shabbos, whatever, you're on a camping trip.
Yeah.
Have Shabbos, but they have something called a life filter. I mean, a life straw.
Yeah.
A little straw, you can go to any stream and drink out of it.
Yeah.
So then it depends. If it's the type of water that you would not drink, because it's mayim achurim, it's dangerous, if it's not, and you wouldn't drink without this, then you can't do it on Shabbos.
You're not allowed to.
No.
Mama's a little thing is a mixer with life straw.
No,
Same, it's not
not allowed to use it on Shabbos. No.
Wait, the act of filtering out bugs is Vayera.
Avoid it.
Oh,
Unless you'll tell me that this water is clean. I want to. There's toxins in the water. I want to be. Okay, it's fine. That's fine. That's no problem.
Interesting. Thank you.